I have a question for you. Do you think zones create price, or do you think price creates zones? I think I have an answer to this, but I'll answer it a little later in this video. For now, what I would like to do is carry you for a walk through my brain. I ask a lot of questions, which is technically what an analysis is. I see traders drawing lines and zones and all kinds of different creative things on their chart, screenshotting it with some sort of position, and then simply calling it an analysis. What I would like to actually argue is that your analysis should inquire a lot of things of what you draw. Most people stop when they draw. That's it. You draw your trend line, you draw your zones, maybe you put an indicator on, and that's it. You just look at what the indicator or the drawing suggests to you. What I actually try to do is I go a little deeper than the technical analysis itself. Now, I have an image here that this is AI created, and I would like to actually discuss this. Gold, especially, is a monster, right? So, we're talking about the monster that is gold. And the reason why I want to discuss this is because I'll delete it now. Is you have to understand that gold is something that is slightly different than other currency pairs. It's slightly different than other assets. We say all the time that we must think like banks, yet still, I think we think like retail traders. I don't think banks are using patterns and smart money concepts and these things, right? And I'm saying I don't think because I don't know. None of us know, right? The way I analyze this, I try to go a lot deeper than what I think people are doing. Not just what retail traders are doing, but everyone, banks, hedge funds, any institutions, etc. So let us begin with the idea of induction. So we just spoke about the fact that we think gold is a monster. I think gold is a monster, right? Now there's a saying that goes, ignorance is bliss. And the saying really speaks to what you don't know can't hurt you. I disagree. I think what you don't know absolutely can hurt you. So if you aren't even aware that there's someone in this market that is actually controlling this thing, then I mean you have a problem, right? You aren't aware that there's an entity that you should be afraid of. Now, we ask the question, do we think that price creates zones or zone create price? I think the answer is that price creates zones. Because if zones were creating price, how do we explain this? This is not a zone that's been existing before. Price created this new high. So at some point we know that price should get back up there because maybe there's some buyers up there, some sellers up there, yada yada yada. That right there speaks to the idea of induction. Because right then and there, off the high, traders become interested to sell. Now it's a bull market. So why would the dealer bring about sellers in this bull market? Why? After just recently cracking the high, as I would have mentioned before. Why? You see, that's what I'm talking about. Most traders don't stop to ask the question, why? What is the reason for this occurring in this manner? They'll look at it, okay, well, price broker, they'll maybe draw some kind of thing here, right? And they'll say, oh well, that's a candle that has a big rejection, and they call that's enough for them. They say, okay, good, that's it. That sells. I saw someone in a group in the mind, sorry, say that look, I had to downvote it. I really had to. Look at this. Look at the 1 day chart, guys. December will be a bearish month. How can you make that statement when there's 25 days in December? Again, you can't make that statement. There's no way that you should be able to confirm that with this information. In fact, I'd even argue that looking at the monthly candle that is present, this present monthly candle, the December candle, is not going to give you any information that you could use, at least not in the long term, because this candle has 25 days again before we could even begin to use information from this. What you're actually using on the monthly time frame is all the candles prior, not the current one. When this current candle closes, then that will be cemented information. But I digress. So, coming back to the idea of price creating zones. If now the dealer has created this level with price, this zone with price, there's no way that we could say that zones should be able to hold back price. Because how is it that the thing that is created by price gets to control price? You know what that's like saying? That's like saying you, as a father or a mother, your children control you. You created your children, didn't you? They don't get to control you, you get to control them. You get to call the shots. Now, again, don't get me wrong, some people take this to the extreme, but I digress. The reality is, the thing that is doing the creating is typically the one that is doing the controlling. So, that's why the idea of supply and demand, support resistance, anything that has smart money concepts with these different zones, anything that has zones in it should never be the above all and end all, in my opinion. And if you don't understand how zones work, which are they are created by price, if you don't understand that, you too will very easily become induced. Who do you think, if we are looking at this just blindly here, just this random drawing here, who do you think is being induced right now heavily? If I were to walk down the time frames, who do you think is being induced? Sellers, right? It's evident. Sellers, absolutely. Now, I think you would have learned by now that in a bull market, will always be temporary. How long? We don't know, but we know that they'll be temporary. Here's the interesting thing. Most traders, again, coming back to the idea that gold is a monster, and they don't know that gold is a monster that they need to be afraid of, and they need to be afraid of buys just like they would have been afraid of buys here. Anybody who sold, and I'm going to link the video, anybody who sold off of this level or off of this level would have been destroyed by this move. Guess what? I believe that that is going to happen again. You know why? Because I am constantly bringing into question, why would the dealer show a sell in such a predominantly bull market? What is the reason for that? Gold historically has been known to go up. Even if it goes down, it could go down to 1600. I don't care. Gold is a bull market. The sell will always be temporary until gold can shift its trajectory. I'm not saying that that's not possible, but I am saying that trying to sell at this point, you are basically running a fool's errand. Because if you are not aware of how induction works and you're not using the correct style for the correct time frame in terms of how long you're holding the trade, you're gonna be burnt. Again, I would say this. I'd be making a very ignorant statement if I were to say that you cannot sell at all on Google. You absolutely can sell. There are methods in here that will allow for sales. So long as you understand that it is likely to be more temporary than permanent, and you can use that in your system and your strategy, I think you should be fine. But I see traders trying to sell regardless, without any understanding of the way that zones actually work, and that they aren't the thing that holds price to do anything in particular. Price controls the zones because price has created the zones. You don't talk about zone action, you talk about price action. Think about that. So, I hope that this made some sense. We know that gold is a monster. We know that the fact that gold has been a bull market. The question that I want to bring to you today, why is gold going bearish after recently breaking the high? Is it that this is actually the high and it doesn't want to go past there at all? Maybe. Or is it maybe that the dealer knows that people would have been interested in buys at that point, and it makes sense to take out any late buyers again so that he can actually buy the market? That's also a possibility. You see, when you stop to ask these questions, all of a sudden things become a little clearer. You don't just look at the market for the patterns that they're showing. You're looking at the market for all of the different circumstances and scenarios that can possibly play out. And that is what I think trading is. Let me know what you think, guys. Let me know if you agree. Let me know if you disagree. And yeah, let's see how it goes. I wouldn't be trading today because, again, I'm not quite sure if I have any confirmation of a sell just yet. Temporarily, of course. And I definitely would not buy against all of this bear momentum here. So I'll have to wait. Let me know what you think. See you guys in the next one.